your name has come up a little bit in the build-up here. So how have you been dealing with all the predictions and the rumors around the draft and all the talk about you potentially being the first overall pick?
Yeah, for me, I don't really pay too much attention to it. Don't really put too much stock into it. I'm really big on controlling what I can control, and what people may put in a mock draft, or what people may say about me or anyone in the draft class, whether it be good or bad. That's stuff I can't control, and stuff that's always going to fluctuate, and whether it's negative or positive. I think it's great. I think that's one of the great things about sports is we all get to come together and talk about it and have our own opinions. So, I'm grateful for, just to be a part of that. But, for me, I'm just focused on, doing everything I can in this process to be ready, so that, whatever team it is that does take a chance on me and does draft me, I'm ready to give my all and be the best version of myself for that franchise.
I like that. And you mentioned, like, I mean, all the talk that's going on right now has got to be a lot to sift through, but you seem like someone who doesn't really let it get to you. So I want to give you some space to kind of explain why the analysts sitting at their computers, should start looking at talent and less at your biometrics. I know that's been a huge thing people want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I only know how to play one way. I only know, I only know this. I only know, I've been this size, relative to the people around me for as long as I can remember. So, again, I understand what I'm capable of. I understand, what I've been able to do. I feel like there's still a lot more for me to improve on and grow for. So, I know I know what I want to do, I want to accomplish. But, as far as anyone who is an analyst or anyone who has their opinion about a draft or a mock draft, whatever it may be, I again, I'm not too like I think everyone's entitled to their own opinion. If you don't believe in whatever it is that I'm doing, or you don't think, then I think that's fair. I think everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But again, I'm confident in who I am. I know what I can do. And again, I'm focused on being the best version of myself, and I'm excited for the next chapter, for this next challenge, and I'm ready to grow with whatever team it is that does draft me.
Well, you've had football kind of around you for a lot of your life, from what I've read. Who's one NFL quarterback that you've tried to model your game after?
Yeah, for the longest, for me, he was someone I've been able to watch the longest, who's been there from, when I was younger and growing up playing the position, to and still in the league now, and Aaron Rodgers. That's definitely what I feel like I've looked at the most. He's been able to be so consistent, play so well for so long. For much of my upbringing, when I was figuring out the quarterback that I wanted to be, he was already having success, so it was easy to watch him and emulate him. And the stuff he's able to do, as a passer, him, being able to make plays from such different positions, such different platforms, and be so accurate and consistent, with what he's able to do. I think it's special. It's something that, I definitely, strive to get to, and watch, and feel like I can learn a lot from. So, Aaron Rodgers is someone I have a lot of respect for, and definitely looked at to try to emulate some of my game after him.
Talking really quickly about your time at Alabama, you obviously played for one of the greatest college football coaches of all time. So tell us what it was like playing for Nick Saban, and did he ever give you a piece of advice or a lesson that you learned from him and you think you're going to carry it to the NFL?
Yeah, for sure. Playing for Coach Saban was amazing. He was someone that demands the best out of everyone around him and himself. Day in and day out. And playing for him, definitely. You get instilled that hard work, that consistency. That push, and try to be the best version of yourself every single day. So it was definitely an honor to be coached by the greatest to ever do it, and he definitely pushed me, on field and off the field. And I'm a way better person and player for going to the University of Alabama. And one of the many pieces of advice that that he shared with me throughout my time and my tenure being there, was really just the importance of being consistent in what I do. Again, I learned a lot of that from watching him. You see him on TV and on media a lot of how much he demands, from other people, and you could hear the rants and him getting on people. But what people don't see is that he does that with everyone. Whether it's the freshman that just got there, the star player, to coaches, and even to himself. He holds everyone accountable, and he's definitely preached on being consistent in that, and how you have to be consistent and hold yourself to a standard day in and day out. So that's something that he lives by, and a lesson that he definitely taught me.
Speaking of Alabama, your teammate Will Anderson is predicted to get drafted early in the first round as well. So I want you to be his hype man right now for him. What's your argument for teams to add Will to their roster?
I mean, Will is, I think first you see all the stuff that he does on Saturdays and the next level that he'll do on Sundays, and how disruptive he is, how he's impossible to block, how great he is in the running and pass game, how physical he is. Just the amazing player that you see, and how consistently he's been able to do that for the past 3 years, at the highest level. I think seeing that is, it can't be stated enough that it's what everyone sees. But on top of that, the type of person he is, the person he is, first and foremost, just as a human being, just a great person, take away football, but, a great person, that's just a really cool dude that people gravitate towards. And on top of that, the leadership he has in the locker room, again, he's someone who works extremely hard, and demands the best from himself and from everyone around him, and someone that, being his teammate, you want to play better because of him. You look at him and you want to work harder. You want to push yourself. And he really brings the team together. He was a big leader for us. He brings that spark and that edge. Of course, he would do that for us on Saturdays, but he would do it on every day throughout the week in practice. You saw how hard he practiced, and it was just a Tuesday in the middle of the year, and he made everyone else around him better. So a combination of how hard he works, how much he makes people around him better, how good of a person he is, how good of just a human being he is, mixed with, all the production that he has, on a day in and day out basis, whether it's practice and game. He's been so disruptive. He's been such an amazing player for all 3 years he's been in college. I could go on and on about the long list of reasons why Will is, as great of a player as he is.
I was gonna say that's a pretty good case you made for the guy. But no, in all honesty though, we actually chatted with Will the other day and he could not stop praising you. Like he told us what good of a leader you were and how good of a friend you were to him. You had his back on everything. So I feel like you kind of reflected the same sentiment about him. But those seem like really great characteristics to have when leading an NFL team, if you ask me. So where do you think that mentality came from for you and how do you plan to apply it in the NFL?
Yeah, for me, I think it's been something that's been instilled in me from a young age. From my parents of just doing all the little things right, and being consistent in how I do, really everything. Big believer in, kind of how you do anything is kind of how you do everything. And, when you are just focusing on the big picture things, and think that you can turn it on and turn it off, a lot of times I feel like you're, either, you can, or you're just not as prepared to do so. So, just the mentality of trying to do all the little things right, of trying to be consistent in what I do. And, that's something that was instilled in me at a young age, and then got refined at the places, that I was at, being in high school, being at University of Alabama. All those places kind of demand that and bring that out of you as well.
Last serious question I have for you before I want to do some fun rapid fire ones with you. Another Alabama quarterback, Jalen Hurts. He obviously made news for the big contract he signed with the Eagles. I know y'all still keep in touch. So could you talk about your reaction when you heard that news? Like, were you excited for him? Were you also shocked? Like, what was that like for you?
Yeah, extremely excited. It's extremely well, it's very well deserved. Again, just for me, when I first got to University of Alabama, a lot of the film that I was watching when learning the offense was him and Tua. So I was able to watch so many of his reps, and, also was able to be around a lot of people that were there while he was there, and just hearing about how he carried himself, how well of a leader he was, how good of a leader he was, how hard he worked, and what he meant for the team, and then also getting to see how good he was while playing too, just from watching the film, and then going on to continue to follow him with having success at Oklahoma, and then having success in the league, of course. Just seeing how he commands offense, how he's a leader of the team, and seeing how well he played last year on top of that, and all the things on the field, off the field, just I feel like there's so much that, I've been able to learn from him, even before I, did have a chance to talk to him, and just from being in the building and hearing stories and watching his film, and, now hearing how he approaches things, and again, hearing, even talking to people that have played with him, even at the NFL level, and how well he leads, and how much he meant how much he means to the Eagles, and, to them, having the success they've had is definitely a direct correlation. So, I'm super, super happy for him, and he definitely deserves it.
Hey, sports fans, if you want to see more conversations with athletes and stars, check out these videos right here and be sure to subscribe for more from USA Today Sports.